So can you talk to me a little bit about how the coronavirus is going to affect the ICPC?
We were very concerned, the Academy, which is comprised of attorneys from all over the country.
Probably
And
you should explain what the ICPC is for
yeah,
most people. I'm sorry, I've just dove right into your lingo in adoption world, but can you explain that first?
sure. Um, the Interstate Compact on the Placement of Children, ICPC, is the process by which, in an interstate adoption where a baby is born in one state and the adoptive family lives in another state, and the baby has to travel across state lines for the purpose of adoption. And in order for the child to be able to do that, there is a process where we have to get approval from both states, the sending state as well as the receiving state. Right. It's a sequential process. And it's not a core process, but it's an administrative process which is regulated by the Interstate Compact on the Placement of Children, which is typically a division of the Department of Social Services. And there's one office in each state, and they receive the package of documents, which is a pretty significant package, which includes things like the home study and copies of the consent documents, the discharge summary of the baby, and some of sorted other documents depending on the state. So the receiving state receives a copy, and then when it's reviewed and approved, it moves on to the receiving state. So over time and over the past few years, some states have moved to electronic submissions. There's a system by which there's a security system where those documents are submitted to the sending state and then sent along. We had most of our members had made calls to their respective ICPC offices and asked how they were handling it. And we have been told that those ICPC liaisons are all working from home, and they're either reviewing the electronic submissions. If they did not typically accept electronic submissions, they're doing so now. Wow. As adoption director of the Academy, we did write a letter to the AAICPC, which is the overlooking body of all the state offices, and we asked for a relaxation of the process. In other words, perhaps allowing families to travel and not keeping them or requiring that they stay in the sending state with a newborn in a motel room for an undetermined amount of time, right, which is in nobody's best interest.
Right.
Did ask for relaxation and retroactive approval. We've not heard back yet, but I will tell you that nobody has reported back that there's any significant delay in the regular processing, which is really good news. And I recently asked our membership to let me know whether or not they're experiencing delays. And in some cases, people are getting approval in record time, in fact. Great. So everyone is hyper vigilant in right, getting filed and getting approval for the families to travel home with their children. So we're pleased about that.
Yeah, that's great. I think that this may be one of the example categories where the system is being forced to adapt to the new technology that they were maybe slow to move forward on before, because they just literally have to keep things running. And I think that's great news for all adoptive families currently and in the future. I would love for them to continue it that way. If it's something that it's new for them and they try it and they see that it works for the department and they know that it will work for the families because it's already been done in so many states, we think that's a thumbs up. That's great. That's fantastic. And more of that, please. So we're all about taking adoption into the future, doing it right now. So changing the way by using innovative technology. I mean, it's not, we're so archaic in so many things that we do in adoption world. Well, I will say archaic, old school. And we don't use the tools that we have that have already been created for us. And I really just hope that this kind of moves us forward on that. So great news, fantastic news. Thank you so much for that.